and welcome to this episode of Pathways to Perform. We hope these real stories from real people resonate to help guide you on your path to perform at your very best in any field. This is your host, Kiesha Lalama. Joining me today is an awesome guy. He is so many things to so many people. He's a mentor, a role model, an educator, a coach, and he is a tremendous positive influence on our entire community. Please welcome the head coach of the Central Valley Warriors and now state champion, Coach Mark Lyons. Go, Mr. Mark Lyons. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for doing this. I feel like you have so much to share. You give so much to our young athletes and certainly for our community. What you do is such an inspiration. So having you here today is such an honor. So thank you for joining us.
You're
Thank
quite
you.
welcome. Thank you.
I really like to start from the beginning with these conversations. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit about your own journey? Where did it all start for you, right? You don't snap your fingers one day and become a coach. So where did your love for sports, where did it begin?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I fall right in line with every high school kid. I think I have the answers or I know what I want to do in college, and I didn't. I thought I did. I didn't. Um, I thought I had it all laid out. I was going to go to Penn State Beaver for 2 years, play a little baseball, okay, transfer up to main campus, and I have this all figured out. It took about maybe a full year, a half a semester, where I'm thinking, I don't know if I can sit behind a desk and crunch numbers because I was majoring in accounting. Just wasn't me. So at that point, I probably had over a year of credits that took a step back. I said, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And working various jobs. I ran into my ex high school coach who was at Monaca at the time where he coached me. And he says, well, if you're not sure what you want to do, why don't you come on board and volunteer? See, help us out. And, I was helping, doing some things in the youth programs, both baseball, basketball, whatever I can do just to stay involved. And I kind of jumped in with both feet, fell in love with it. He grabbed me one day. He says, listen, if this is something you thinking about doing and I think you have a chance, he kind of pushed me because you need to go back and get your education degree. And at that time, I said, took a drive up to Geneva College. I got to the registration, told them my plan. Can I do this? So for 3 years, I went to class, went to football practice, worked at night, and that was my grind for 3 years. Put my head down, and then next thing you know, it just kind of took off.
Wow, I never knew that. I
Mhm.
just assumed that you went to school for education. So you were originally going for accounting.
Yeah, yeah. So
Interesting.
far removed from where I'm at today, and I owe so much to Alan Wandola. Everybody has a mentor, somebody you look up to. He's the one. He was my excuse me. He was my high school football coach, but we became such great friends to this day. Um, he pushed me that way, guided me that way, because obviously he was a great educator, became superintendent, um, and kind of said, "Hey, here's the path you need to take." And I didn't question it one bit. It was just kind of there was a purpose why I was there. There was a purpose why our paths crossed again, not just because coach player. We now became colleagues together. There was a reason why. I always believe that there's a reason why things happen.
100%. I always say that everything happens for a reason. If you're paying
Absolutely.
attention to the signs and if you're like answering the call, it's
Right.
all kind of there. You just have to be in tune with the universe at some point.
You're right. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to see what they what everything gives to you, and you got to be ready to find that right time to jump at it. But I even find myself nowadays when I talk to parents quite often, whether it's football, whatever it may be. If your son and daughter is not ready, don't say you have to go to college. I'm like to say I'm living proof because I don't know if they're all ready. Everybody matures differently. Everybody's finds their niche, I guess, is at different levels. And if they're not ready, they'll find it. Sooner or later, they'll find it.
Well, that's so true. College just might not be the path. I
At
mean,
least right not yet, anyways.
that's exactly right. And if you don't know, is it worth going and exploring those options at that time? And so it's really really important. And I mean, my son Jake is didn't go to school, and
Absolutely.
he's like living his dream right now, and it was the right decision for him. It's
Exactly.
it's so interesting. And so, you start coaching, and how wonderful to have a mentor and someone look at you and say, "Hey, I think this might be a great path for you." Did
Mhm.
you know in that moment that this was it? This was the calling for you, that there was something there deep down inside that you had to fulfill?
I did, and because I felt that I had a connection there with the players, and I also had a connection with someone who thought highly enough of me, because if you have someone that respects and thinks highly enough for you, that's just going to give you that extra confidence to say, you know what, let's go for this. And he gave me that confidence. He gave me enough of my leeway to kind of let me grow, learn, and grow on the job training. Um, and like I said, I owe so much to him to this day. And I realized, you know, I think this is exactly what I want to do. This is me.
Wow. So I look back at your career, and even as a player, you are no stranger to the thrill of what a championship can bring. So
Right.
I look at Monaca High School and the championship there, and then I look at the several WPIL championships with us, and this year, ha, the state championship. It's pretty
Yes,
incredible.
it
What
was.
was it like to win state?
You know, I've probably answered hundreds and hundreds of questions. What do you think it's going to be like? And I've probably laid awake at night. I'm not a great sleeper. I'm one of those abnormal, up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, limited sleep. That's just how I'm wired. And I always thought, what would it be like? How would I answer? How would I react? What emotion's going to hit me? And when I thought I had it figured out, when it actually happened, it was nothing that ever crossed my mind. It was nothing. And to me, that was the neat thing about it. I thought I'd be jumping all around. I thought I'd be filled with emotion. I might break down. Well, because people don't know me, I am a sucker for movies. Like I'll sit there and Diana look and she goes, "Please tell me you are not crying." And I don't tell a lot of people this, but I am the worst. Like I am. If people knew that, you know, I am, especially when it has to do with the daughter. Not my daughter.
Yeah, of
I
course.
am. I'm a sucker at. So I'm thinking, am I gonna just break down at that moment? And as I said, when the clock hit zeros, none of those happened. I was just amazed. I think I was a little bit of shock. I looked around and I felt like everything just fell off of my shoulders. I didn't realize
Wow.
I was carrying that with me.
Yeah.
My
Just the
drive.
weight of it, the
Yes.
weight of it,
Yeah.
the want, the desire, the community, you're carrying everybody with you.
And nobody put that on me but
Yeah,
myself. But
of course.
that's okay because that's me. That's how I get through life. I expect a lot out of me, and I want to do well.
Well, I mean, I look back at your winning record. I have such respect and admiration for your passion, your love, your dedication. It's all there. I mean, you have a winning record of something over 79%, I read somewhere. That's incredibly astounding and profound. Do you feel a pressure that comes with that? Like, oh, now I have to work up to 79.5 or 80? Or do you just show up and you're present and it's about playing in that moment the best you could possibly play?
That's a great question. I don't get caught up in numbers, and I never did. I'm comfortable where we're at, and I'm comfortable with what we're doing. I've never, in all 30 some years I've been doing this, ever addressed the team and says we need to win 8 games, 10 games. We need to get. We never talk about that. We don't even talk about winning championships. You hit the nail on the head. We talk about what are we going to do today? Let's handle today. But the other factor in this piece is, that I am so grateful for is the people that I've surrounded myself with. I'm going to go back to what Coach Bondola, my mentor, said to me. the first thing you better learn is you better make sure the people around you are even smarter than you, and don't be intimidated by that. So I'm I'm perfectly comfortable in my own skin when somebody next to me knows more than me and they want to be part of what we're doing. I'm perfectly happy with that.
That's that you I'm in awe. And that's truly what it takes to build a winning team. Is just the idea of everyone in it together. And you have always taken the community with you. You've always thanked the school. You're quick to thank everyone else except for recognize yourself. And I just again so much respect and admiration. I do want to kind of mention, I don't know how many people take a moment to pause and really recognize your record and what you've achieved with what you have. So I'm a college professor. I can recruit top talent across the country. Not only do I have the opportunity to recruit top talent, when I'm casting a piece, I get hand selection, right? They audition and I get to hand select the artist that I'm going to carve this new creation with. Professional coaches recruit, right? They draft their
Yeah.
team. Colleges recruit, they travel the country, they bring in top talent. How do you create this amazing track record with a community in which these, young men were born and raised? You're not pulling people in. These are people that are born and raised here. How do you do that, Mark?
Well, I think it's just like anything else. I mean, I know you may have the pick of it. You may get to draft whoever you think that's best suited for your role that you're asking them. But, I believe at some point, Keisha, they have sought after you too. They have looked where they wanted to go. So there's two pieces to that puzzle. Yeah, I know you get to go and pick. We don't get to pick, but I have a feeling that if you're honest and you're committed to them, they will come to you. You know, Not to be corny, but it's the old movie. You build it, they will come, so
That's
to
right.
speak.
Yep.
Um, you know, I, I'm going to use you as an example. They're applying to you. They're coming to you for a reason. So I know you have to go out maybe find and you get to pick and choose. But on a smaller scale, we're just like that. They're coming because they have heard that our track record and what we do is a consistent treating of you, of that player. We're going to be tough on you, but as tough as I am around you, I'm going to be in your corner. If you can call me at any time of night, I'm going to help you out in the situation. And I've received some of those phone calls, and I stand by that. But they know when they're with me. I said I'm just as tough on my kids. I'm gonna it's that tough love, and I still think there's a good place for that in our society with our young kids.
Well, and I think about the people that have come through your program, and I mean, I only positive. I mean, every young gentleman has nothing but good to say about you and what you've done. You have really just influenced and developed such great young men. What is your coaching philosophy like? You're talking about tough love, but call me if you need me. What
Mhm.
what is this coaching philosophy? Can you share a little bit of that with
Sure.
us?
I mean, I think the first thing everybody has to realize is, and I believe this in any sport, the kids have to realize first that you care about them as a person, not just as a player.
Human
So
being first.
I'm sorry.
Human being first.
Exactly.
So
That's
important.
it is
Yeah.
so important. So I'd like to have conversations with them that we don't even talk football. We just talk in general. I make sure that I go and see them in different settings. If they're in a school musical, if they're in a different sport, I want them to see me there. I've got an interest in them. Again, I'm just not interested in you when you have a helmet on. I'm interested in you 24/7, 365 days a year and what you do. But here's the biggest thing I think that, again, that was passed on to me is you can't fool, you can't fool kids. They're smart enough to see through the phony part of if you're trying to sell something that they're not buying. If you're consistent, and you're honest with them, they may not agree with you at the time, but they appreciate it afterwards. And that's happened so many times. And I find myself gravitating to the ones that are on that fence, the tough ones, the ones where we might probably have butted heads early on in their career, but later on, coach, hey, can I borrow this? Coach, can I come down and work with you guys after graduation? And I'm thinking 3 years ago, I don't know if we'd have had that conversation. So, to circle back to your question, consistency is number one, and make sure they know that I care about them, not just when they have that helmet on, but everything else about their life.
You have the biggest heart, and I just love that. I'm thinking about all of the guys and athletes that have moved on, that have reached the most elite level of, you know, NFL status.
Hmm.
What is it like to know that you played such a significant role in the development during their formative years?
Yeah. I pinch myself. I'm lucky. I tell people that I know colleagues, I know guys that have been in this profession 40 years, never had an opportunity to maybe come close to even coaching one athlete, and
Mm.
we've had several come through here. And I'm proud. I watch them with I'm just beaming inside. Um, I may not be celebrating it maybe on the outside, but I'm very, very proud of what they've accomplished. And actually, I'm proud of just every young man that comes through the program and what they do.
I mean, you have such a tremendous gift to reach these young athletes and you champion them to reach their full potential. Have you ever considered moving on to a higher level of coaching in like the collegiate arena or even professional?
Yeah, you know what? That's always crossed my mind. I'm not so sure that's worth the conversation right now, being this stage of the game. Um, I still feel that, you know, yeah, I may drift a little bit and say, "Boy, I wonder if I'd have taken this path, and where would I be right now?" But you know what? At the end of the day, I get ready, go to bed, and I'm saying there's a reason why. There's always a reason why I didn't choose that path. There's a purpose why I am here, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay. I wake up every morning with the excitement. Even going into my sixth grade classroom, I wake up and I get in there just as if we're going to the game field, and I know some of them are looking at me like, this can't be real. This guy can't be real. He can't be this excited for a stinking science class. But that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, you love teaching.
I do.
It's evident that you really are a true champion of young people. I think about coaching football, and you well know my father was a football coach for years, and
Absolutely.
just sitting on the sidelines with him as a young girl, watching him coach and his passion and love for the game. I think his favorite thing about it was knowing that he was really a huge, again, a significant role in developing healthy, confident, young, up and coming adults. What do you love the most about coaching?
Well, again, that's probably I got a twofold answer to that. Reaching those ones that are just kind of on the border, not sure what they want to do, if this is the place for them, if this is the direction they want to go, and can they handle that kind of structure? When I able to break down those barriers in each one of those parts of their lives, I get so much satisfaction. I tell people this all the time that everybody gets excited for the game. I'm almost at a point where I have to take a nap right before the game. It's like I've poured everything into the week, but that's the process I like. It's just like I'm preparing my class for a test all week. I'm preparing our guys. I take them from Monday all the way through, and I want to see how much they can handle. If there's a better way I can deliver it, and then obviously I always just like to sit back and let them do it on Fridays.
What has been your favorite memory so far? Do you have one thing that kind of stays with you, or are there just too many? I see you shaking your head like there's
Yeah,
so
I mean,
many.
That's a great question. I'm not so sure I have one favorite. I have several. Obviously, the state championship is one that really sticks out. Um, I know there's a couple where when we won the WPL championship, I've got each of those pictures with my kids holding that trophy. So when they're at different ages, because this, when we're coaches, we lose a lot of time at home. Not, we're away from home a lot.
Mhm.
Um, we're rushing to see our kids' games, dance recitals. We're running in late. Sometimes we have to miss things. They sacrifice just as much as I do. And to know that they wanted to be part of it and share that, um, those are memories that are really special for me. And again, I'm not so sure there's just one or two particular games, but
Mhm.
being able to share that with a lot of important people. And then obviously, you know, my father who's 86 and he's still, his mind may not be at the top where it may be, but he still wants to try to get to those games. And to me that's special to me. It really is.
Well, and I think it's something about this area as well. We are family oriented,
Mhm.
community oriented, and support each other. And I mean, we would go to the every Friday night to watch my
Yeah,
dad coach, and seeing him out there, and also, I mean, something to consider too is just your family gets as much joy watching you live your passion and
they
your
do.
dream.
They do, and I didn't realize that all the time until most recently. My sister, for one, I have three brothers and a sister, but my sister's been a diehard, and it's a funny story because her kids actually went to Eloquippa High School, and when they go through Eloquippa, you want to talk about some pride. They have a lot of pride,
That's right.
and it's a friendly battle. Like she would say, I'm not going to Yellow. I'm going to Central Valley games. So she's the first one in the stadium. She's the last one to leave. She will never leave until I see her after the game. I know when we come out there, her seat's at the top. She's early at the game. So knowing that my family has taken part in the successes and shared that with me, that's special because if I'd have just been on this journey by myself, I'm not so sure it would have been as special.
Yeah, I think people often underestimate the support. You're not
Mhm.
ever really walking alone. There's an army of people with you, supporting you and lifting you.
Yeah,
And it's something that isn't often kind of spoken or talked about. I think it's beautiful.
agree, agree.
And as you look back, and you definitely are looking forward as well. Please stay here for a long time and keep doing what you're doing. I love the community, the sense of community, and just the pride, and everyone is feeling positive, and it's a beautiful thing. You don't realize how many people are inspired, and just spirits are lifted from all of these kinds of things. But all these dream chasers out there, all these young adults just kind of thinking and considering what's next, what should I be doing? Do you have any advice that you can offer them?
Um, you know, don't jump ahead. I mean, don't, I guess when I got in here at first, when I started this profession, I'm not so sure I even thought about becoming a head coach. I was just so grounded first. Let me even be part of a staff. And then now I became a part of the staff. I was given more responsibility. Don't If I were to give guys some advice, is don't think you have to jump in there and want to be the leader right off the bat. Find some people to work under. Gather as much knowledge you can from different ways things are done. There's many ways to do it. I don't have all the answers, but I do know it works for us. It works for our kids. I'm good friends with Bill Chirpak and Thomas Jefferson. I know it works with them. It's not the same. So they have to find guys to get enough knowledge and gain knowledge from that they give themselves a great foundation. So now they can pick and choose whatever they can use to finally formulate into their career.
That is powerful advice. That is really important, is really just learning it, right? Getting in there, learning it before you start providing and producing something.
That's right.
It's so important to have that experience.
I without question, and I was fortunate. I made sure that, I got an interesting phone call the other night, and it really touched me. It really did, and it was from Carl Flory, who's a legendary coach in the Valley, and he goes congratulated me with that raspy voice of Carl, and we're going back 30 some years ago. He goes, I remember Mark used to sit around, and we used to have our monthly meetings, and those guys would sit around till 11, 12 o'clock, the Tom Alexanders, the Larry Brunos, the Carl Flory. I was
Wow.
afraid, I was afraid to go home. And, it's late at night. I'm a new teacher and I'm thinking, how am I going to get up and teach? But yet I don't want to leave this situation because they were just throwing out free information in casual conversation. And I said, I don't know if I can get this kind of knowledge through a textbook. So I stayed there as long as they stayed. I wouldn't leave. And they welcomed me in their little inner circle. And my first head coaching job I got at Monaca, I can still picture, and God bless his soul, both Carl and Larry Bruno walking down to the practice field just to check how's everything going your first year. And I can vividly see them walking across. And to get that phone call from Carl the other night, he goes, Mark, I've been wanting to reach out to you. He goes, I really, really enjoyed watching you grow. And I'm saying, it's from you. It's from guys like you that allowed me to gain some knowledge. And I wasn't in any hurry to look for a job or a head coaching job. I had no timetable set. I didn't have anything sticking on my mirror. By age 30, I wanted to be a head coach. By age 35, I wanted to be at triple A or quad A. All I know is each day, the only goal I had each day is who's around that I can kind of gain some knowledge from that would allow me to talk to them and watch how they operate and watch how they work in their craft.
You made me cry. That's beautiful. No, I think people take for granted, life experience and what you can gain just from listening, just from listening to people that have done the thing. And
Agree.
it's just getting in the room, right? There's a musical Hamilton in the room where it happens. But
Mhm.
it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but you got to be in the room where it happens and be
Yes.
willing to listen and learn rather than do. And
Ex-
I love that. That's just wow, what a beautiful story. And well deserved. I mean, you deserve all the accolades, all the recognition, and to have someone come back and actually say, congratulations is such a gift, such a gift. Um, okay, we're going to move into my favorite segment now. I call this series 5 in 5. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions and we're going
Okay.
to try to answer them in 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, speed round.
Buckle up.
I love it. Bucket up. I love it. Okay, so our question number one is how do you define success?
Success is done daily. It's taking what you wanted to get accomplished at the beginning of the day and accomplishing it by the end of the day. So when you leave your craft, whatever it is, you feel that you've gotten better that particular day. To me, that's success.
You are a man of a daily practice. I love it. Okay, so number two, and I actually have to, contribute this question to Jake. He came up with this, and I think it's so important to ask everyone.
Okay.
So much, considering the fact that you coach a team, so much of your success is really dependent on the kind of, I would say, preparation and work of others.
Right.
So how does that change your daily approach when there's so many other people that have to deliver?
Well, I think that's a daily approach into our life. We should be unselfish. We got to figure out a way to where we can pass that daily knowledge, what we practice. We're supposed to be givers. We're supposed to be helping people. We should take that in the sporting arenas. How can I help my teammates? How can I provide for them? How can I give to them? We take too much. I think there's too many takers out there that want to just take, take, take. You have to give.
You are, again, a great human being. I just, I love it. Or we're on the same page. So everything's resonating with me
Right.
clearly.
Good.
I love it. All right. So, number three, what is your greatest failure? We've talked about so much of your success. What is your greatest failure and what did you learn from that?
Well, I'm going to say my greatest failure is not reaching everybody where they needed to be at the time that I came in contact with them. I didn't recognize where they were at in not only their athletic career, but just their mental state or learning career. And for me not to get to them, and I say this not just athletically, I say in the classroom, I didn't do a good enough job of reaching that young man, that young girl, or my athlete because I didn't take the time to find out where they were at. I probably assumed, and I now take a step back, and I'm not so quick to really judge or want to rush into things.
Wow. How long have you been coaching?
I just finished 33 years in the profession. I don't know
Yeah,
where it went. It's crazy.
that's
I don't know where it
amazing.
went.
Well, and you can only really understand these things upon reflection. In real
Sure.
time, it's difficult to understand what you might be doing and what you want to fix, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
mean, it's learning on the job. I mean, again, I was fortunate enough to endure the time and found people that will allow me to grow. And again, you learn. I don't
Mhm.
know. A lot of people want to take the time to learn on the job or survive it, I guess.
Okay, so moving on to number four, what are your current interests and passions outside of sports, outside of teaching, besides romantic comedies and having a good cry?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do enjoy. I really got into enjoying golf. I love golf, and this may sound crazy, but I started to really enjoy playing um, poker, Texas Hold'em. And for here's the reason why. I still am trying to find that balance of emotions through a course of a game, not to become emotional on the highs and not to become emotional on the. I used to wear losses very bad. I used to carry them with me. I've learned to really let them go. So my connection to this was poker's a mental game. There's no physical part. You don't have to run fast. You don't have to lift any weights. It's all here. So I'm right now is trying to figure out how I can keep my emotions in check. That game in itself has taught me to keep my emotions in check as best I can. There's not a lot of talking. There's just more internal thinking. So to me, yeah, is it a passion? I don't know if it's so much a passion or hobby. It's just another page that I'm trying to get accomplished in my book to become better at. Because it, as soon as we think we have everything figured out, something's going to jump up and get us.
That's
So
exactly right.
it's not so much a passion; it's more of a goal for me to get better.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that this is a complete segue directly into the last question,
Mhm.
which is how do these interests and passions influence or inspire your profession?
Right. And again, I was an emotional player. I probably was too much of an emotional coach at times. Um, and now I can step back. I can walk away from a tough loss, a bad play. I can step back and reevaluate a bad decision from a player. And I can also step back and evaluate when we do have success, not to let that get in the way of everybody else's growth and enjoyment. So it goes both ways. And funny you asked that is that's probably why I still enjoy and I got back into getting into girls basketball. I enjoy coaching the female sport for that reason alone because it's a different mindset. They bring and this is with all due respect to the female athlete, they bring a different mindset to the arena than the males. And they actually can offer a lot to learn from if you just step back without thinking coaching them basketball and all the skill levels, man, I'm learning from them how they approach it. Now I'm going to take that and try to incorporate that into our program.
Wow, finding that balance too is
Mhm.
so valuable to be able to one influence the other and kind of integrate the two.
Right.
That'll be an interesting dynamic. I'm excited and looking forward to that. I love it.
Me too. Me,
Yeah,
I'm trying to accomplish that. That's a challenge every day, but it's a fun challenge to me. See, I do better on the job training. You
yeah,
give me a book to read and show this is the proper way. I'm not going to get a lot out of it.
yeah.
It's just me. I let me fail. Let me get my hands dirty. Let me figure it out. If I do it wrong, let me know. I'll fix it the next time. I can guarantee you that. But let me get I'm an on the job trainer.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can read books, but I got to do it. And if you
Yeah,
show me once, and if I mess up, then I'll fix it, and I won't make the same mistake twice.
very
But the
exactly.
reading thing doesn't work for me either. I'm more hands on. Yeah.
Well, with that being said,
Yeah.
I never know how to build anything the first time because I don't read the directions. So that is a big failure on my part. I think I can just figure it out on my. I got to backtrack. So it's cost me some time when I got to put something together at home. I just bypass those directions. I'd rather learn on my own.
Yeah.
Not good. So,
Not good. We don't recommend that one to our listeners.
no, absolutely not.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm reflecting upon, on this conversation that we've had. There's common themes for me. One, you are quick to thank and recognize the many people that have kind of propelled you and supported you along the way. Your
Mhm.
family is huge for you. And then continued learning. You're a lifelong learner. Through all of this, I mean, what's next for you? What's your dream for you? What do you hope to accomplish?
Again, number one, I want to see my kids be successful. My son and my daughter. I'm hoping that through what I've able to instill in them and to hopefully they've gained something from me just to watch how I approach things day to day, that they're going to be successful, productive citizens, and obviously to give. I want them to understand the importance of giving to people and helping people. But my ultimate goal and dream, I'm not so sure I've reached that. I don't know if I would ever know what my ultimate goal and dream. I'm an in the moment guy. I don't reflect a long time. I don't sit back and reflect on my career. Maybe that's always not the proper way. At some point, I guess when the time comes, I can put my feet up and reflect. But right now, I'm just an in the moment guy. And what can I do next? What can I help next?
How can you make it better?
How
I
can I
love
make
it.
it better?
That's exactly right. Well, many congratulations.
Thank
Many
you.
thanks. You've
Thank
been
you.
such a tremendous influence on my family as well. So thank you from my
Absolutely.
heart for everything and everything you continue to do. I hope you do get a moment to reflect and just kind of recognize what you've accomplished and celebrate just for a moment, just a brief moment. You're allowed just one moment,
Right.
and then, carry on, keep doing the work,
Yeah.
and, know that we're with you, we're behind you, and we appreciate you. Thank
Well,
you.
thanks so much. I really, really enjoyed this interview, and that's pretty cool what you're doing here. And thank you for thinking about asking me to come on this show. Trust me,
Oh,
really,
you're
really enjoyed it.
such a joy. So please take care, and we will absolutely be in touch.